Okay, I got a lot to cover here in a very short period of time, but I just want to get this information out because I've gotten some requests to give further information. So I got to talk to you about what was going on in World War II as far as the U.S. forces. This also applied to the Filipinos and Japanese were using this also. But a lot of people think that they know about what went on with the World War II combatives because of the Fairborn Sykes. That was one group. For the United States, there were quite a few different trainers that were brought in to train different groups, and the large number, the bulk, went through what was known as the Fairborn Sykes sort of method. However, the special units, or those that became tagged later as special units, did not train that way, especially in the Pacific. In the Pacific Theater, which entailed New Guinea, the Gilbert Islands, Solomon Islands, some atolls, the Philippines, obviously, they were using something completely different. And those trainers for those groups were totally different than the trainers were for the European theater. And this is well known. And this is one of the reasons why I am answering the questions about it, because the Marine Raiders and also the Alamo, the Army, U.S. Army, 6th Army Alamo Scouts, which were long-range reconnaissance and hunter-killer groups, which you would call H&K later, as they were known later in Vietnam. They were the predecessors for everyone. Actually, the Alamo Scouts are the most successful special operations unit ever created for the U.S. Army. 112 missions, no one captured and no one killed from the U.S. side. And they, of their doctrine was to get reconnaissance, but they also did, as I said, H&K, and they killed over 500 for freeing several prison camps in the Philippines, and also went on rescue missions before the liberation of those camps. They're highly classified, and that's why so few people know about them. But anyway, so what they were trained in is what became known later as combat judo. At the time, they were calling it combat judo, but they were not broadcasting this aspect to everyone else. Now, this is not sport judo and a gi, which everyone's confused about. Sport judo started in 1964 at the Tokyo Olympics. Anyway, so combat judo was never a sport. It was never designed exactly for anything other than war fighting. War fighting is completely different than self-defense, that people try to pass off as self-defense you see at the YMCA or at karate schools, at the chain schools, and wherever people have their kids going to. They have no clue. And this is one of the things I have to say. This is what we're offering this on August 26th and 27th, the Combat Judo Alpha Camp in Perrysville, Ohio, midpoint between Cleveland and Columbus. This is going to be the first time that this has been done in the United States. I have trained other people in other parts of the world because I am a military subject matter expert, zero distance warfare. It's my specialty. And so there's a lot to cover there, but we're going to reintroduce this. John Saylor, who was a U.S. Olympic judo coach, and I are going to reintroduce this to people who want to partake in this. The Alamo Scout paradigm when we go through this camp. But what I want to say, though, about this, again, is that this was never a sport. This is military fighting, and a lot of people are confused about that. They think that sport fighting, MMA, kickboxing, boxing, whatever else you might come up with, wrestling, are apt to warfare. That is not true. Vikings were not doing any sort of thing remotely similar to the Americana or omoplata. They weren't doing it, and there's reasons why. Also, military is set around long, involved endurance fights like you see in boxing, especially when it was 15 rounds. Boxing or kickboxing, Muay Thai is totally different, and you cannot take those and use them in warfare. They're not meant for warfare. The people are sorely confused, thinking that if they are a sport fighter, they've gone to karate schools, they know about self-defense. They don't know. They do not. There is very few people who do what I do as a zero distance warfare expert. There are few people, and I can call out the imposters quickly because they cannot answer a few questions that separate us who do that from people who run karate schools or sports gyms. They just don't know certain things. And I am offering the chance for a greater public in the United States, because I live in Southeast Asia, United States, to take part in this Combat Judo Alpha Camp. Now, John Saylor and I are going to be running this, and we're opening it up. We got last minute people can come in. We just need you to pay immediately and confirm your slot. We have logistics to handle, and this is going to be training that's going to be conducted outside. It's going to be conducted in the water also. So this is a real thing. This is not a gym. This is not a self-defense. This is not a Brazilian wrestling camp, a boxing seminar, MMA workshop. It has nothing to do with what other people have done. You have done nothing like this ever, I guarantee it. And you're going to see something that's completely different, because this is far more coherent, structured, scientifically, sequentially done. There is a purpose to this. Something you do not get from people who are showing you technique, technique, technique. That is not what we're going to be doing. We're going to give you a complete paradigm that's used, that has been used, and that is successful. And then we'll do this in a very, very short amount of time. 2 days is not enough, of course, to get everything. Introduction in 2 days, you will be able to come out far more dangerous than you went in, and you will have something, and you'll have an answer for street violence, mob attacks, robberies, that sort of thing. You will have more than what you'll get anywhere else. Anyway, so this is Christophe Clugston for the Combat-Judo.com. Go to that website. You can sign up at that website. The information is on that website. Look at that website, Combat-Judo.com. And I'm excited to bring to those people who are very interested in this hidden World War II Pacific Theater hand-to-hand combat system to partake. Okay, so I'll see you there. For those of you who are daring, or die, as we say.